Draft science video. At least that's what I've decided now at this very moment. I didn't know what to do with this video exactly. So on the Amendum channel, I did play a Joe Rogan interview with some idiot, Jordan Peterson or something. And so I just saw this deGrasse Tyson interview thing, and I said, well, it's a more interesting subject, maybe, who knows, but yeah, it's probably just going to be too general or too specific, in a sense they're going to talk about some certain subjects, and, well, we'll see. I figure it's worth a shot. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it will not require other parts. Maybe I just say, okay, this isn't productive. But it might be food for thought. Might be. So we'll say, let's play with it. Why not? There's more to it than why not. But what the hell?
Boom. That's a nice hat. I've told you already, but live I gotta tell you, that's a nice. It's very kind of Indiana Jones, but
it's not quite that, and
it's
not quite
little,
cowboy. Yeah,
but it's kind of, yeah, you're like in the middle of that.
Yeah.
You're right away. You're dancing on the edge.
Well, guy, I have a really fat head, and so there's this website called bigheads.com.
There's a website for it?
It's a total website for
I
fat
get my
head
friend
people.
Burke Kreischer a hat then. I put his hat on. I couldn't believe how big his head was. It's like
preliminaries are just so interesting.
It's like an inch gap all around my head. I thought I had a big head.
Yeah, so if you know your head size, do you know your head size?
No, I do not.
So it turns out if you know your head size, that number comes from somewhere. Can I tell you what it is?
Sure.
So if you measure the circumference of your head, just get a tape measure, like you're measuring your waistline, but do it around your head, and take that number, divide it by pi, then that's your hat size.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It seems
Gee. I need scientists for this one. You know how they did shoe sizes? Well, you walk around the earth and then you divide by 4,678,000 and wait, that's not nearly enough. Okay, maybe they don't do it that way. Never mind.
How about
my tubes?
Why can't it be just like your waist, 32? You know, your waist is what your waist
is.
is.
It is what it is, right? Because why can't it just be the circumference, right? So what it turns out to be, so what that means is, if you divide it by pi, you're getting the diameter of the circle that has the same dimension as the circumference of your head. So if you have an oblong head, then what it's doing is finding out what the circle is, the diameter of the circle that has that same circumference as your head.
Oh, okay.
That's what that's doing. Whether that helps the hat maker.
So immediately I start thinking about Dan Aykroyd and Saturday Night Live as a cone head.
Oh.
Right? Remember?
Well, then you need a tall hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So far, so bad. This is the worst, longest 2 minutes of my life. Holy shit.
So you got it. There's an issue.
Yeah. So do that. You're still doing stand-up. That's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I caught you a few months ago. You were emceeing some MMA, was it? What was it?
Well, I'm always doing that, yeah.
Oh, you're always doing that. Okay,
yeah.
I'll catch some of it then.
Well,
I think it's great to stay in shape because I'm a fat slob right now.
Well, you were ripped back in the day, man. I saw pictures of you when you were wrestling. I was like, damn, Neil, you look good.
I had some street cred back then.
Do you exercise at all now?
No, it's not that I don't have the energy to. It's trying to find the time.
There's you back in the day. Look at you, shredded.
Ooh.
How much did you weigh back then?
Oh, go on.
176.
No. I'm 6'2", so I'm 190 pounds in that.
Oh,
exactly.
great.
I have big thighs and stuff. Other wrestlers that have skinnier thighs and things.
Oh, fuck. I knew there'd be some personal shit, but,
So I was also taller than anyone I wrestled, so since we're the same height, it meant they have bigger muscles, actually, so, because we're the same weight, right? But did I say that right? I'm taller,
right,
but we're the same weight, so that means they have bigger muscles,
right,
because none of us have fat, right? So I had to do things that my lankiness would enable me to do until
yes, right. A lanky wrestler.
Accomplish that they couldn't. So I have long reach, this sort of that scoop and angle, that kind of thing.
Gay.
Great advantages to having long limbs in martial arts, particularly in wrestling, grappling, because of leverage.
Yeah, also if you're quick and with long limbs, and I was both. But if they got me in their grip, it was hard for me to get out.
So, what kind of exercise do you do these days?
No.
The Dumpty Humpty.
Nothing?
No, I'm trying. I'm trying. When I'm in, I'm good. But I've just got so much going on.
Yeah.
And I have to make the time.
That's a problem, right? When you become a little bit too successful for your own
good. I saw some food. There's a lot of food documentaries, trying to get you to eat differently. So I thought I'd watch them all. I binged on one weekend while I was doing other stuff, and I
got hungry.
No, one of the guys, he was trying to lose 100 pounds or something. So every 15 pounds he lost, he put a bowling ball up on the counter and said, "That is what I'm not carrying around with me."
Whoa.
Because the bowling ball's about 15 pounds. I said, "Wow, he's measuring weight in bowling balls. That's something." Because we say, I'm 3 pounds less and 2 pounds less. That doesn't hit you emotionally the way a bowling ball does.
Yeah.
After you've lost 15 pounds. Because no one wants to be carrying that around. So psychologically, I thought that was quite potent.
Okay, now we're 4 minutes in. They haven't gotten anything. could mean anything to anybody who gives a fuck about anything that matters.
That is potent. I think we do need. I usually use like plates. I think of weight plates or dumbbells.
Okay, yeah, that works too. Yeah.
I started doing intermittent fasting pretty recently, where I only allow myself to eat 10 hours in a day.
Oh wow!
That's
I
it.
was out of the 24-hour.
Yes,
So
14.
I had Terry Crews on my radio show on Star Talk. My boy's ripped.
Yeah,
Okay,
he looks great.
He's still, and he's like 47 or something. I mean,
Yeah.
so he doesn't eat until 12 noon.
Oh,
And then
same
he
sort of
doesn't eat
deal.
until after 10 o'clock, that's right.
Yeah, 10
And then
hours.
he doesn't eat after 10, right?
Yeah.
So it's a 10-hour thing. And so he's watching everyone else have brunch and breakfast, and so he's got to overcome that. But, so it's a little bit of fasting each day.
Intermittent.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, I've been doing that for my whole life almost. Breakfast is for losers.
Just to keep the discipline. I think it's, at the end of the day, it's really just discipline.
Well, it's not just that. It also forces your body to burn fat instead of carbohydrates. And when it forces your body to burn fat, that state of ketosis is actually easier to maintain because you don't get hungry.
Yeah, then there's no roller coaster.
Yeah, the crash, the carbohydrate crash that you get.
Right.
Is that outside of the realm of possibility for you?
No, I can totally... I'm a ketosis guy.
Anything involving science? Come on, it's in there, baby. It's in there.
I once got raked over the coals, not by everyone, but I tweeted once. I said, if there's a diet book written by a physicist, it would contain one sentence. Consume calories at a lesser rate than... at a greater rate... No, consume calories at a lesser rate than you burn them.
That is so...
Oh, gee. Well, this is just so not what I was expecting. And I wasn't expecting much, but this is much less than the less I was expecting.
Or true.
That's the one sentence diet book. No, it's more complicated than that. And then we just try to get all... No, it's this, that, and that. And one of the great things of physics, when you do physics, is all the details are just cut off it's window dressing. You get down to the window itself. And that's what the analysis works on.
Oh, yeah, right. Sure.
I have rarely seen you attacked, but I did see you attacked when you were celebrating Sir Isaac Newton's birthday.
Oh!
I was like, people were so mad.
People lost their mind.
They lost their mind when you were, by the way, incorrect in the date of Jesus' birthday. That is not the date of Jesus'
Jesus
birthday.
was not born on the 25th. Right?
No, I mean, it's just...
Plus, I didn't even mention. So what I said was, by the way, that to this day is my highest retweeted tweet.
I tweeted it. I retweeted it.
So you remember, it's actually a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
So it was on
Oh, Christ.
December 25th comes.
There it is.
Oh, you got
Child was born by the age of
okay.
30, transform the world. Happy birthday, Sir Isaac
On this
Newton.
day, long ago, a child was born who, by age 30, would transform the world. Happy birthday, Isaac Newton. Born December 25th, 1642.
79,000 retweets,
Oh, yeah.
86,000 likes.
People just lost their
They
mind.
were so mad.
They were angry, and I thought, well, interesting, because I'm just speaking the truth here.
Yes.
He transformed civilization actually, he did it by the time he was 26. So, yes, it's provocative, because you're expecting that Jesus is going to...
Yeah, well, whatever. It's sort of an overstatement a little bit. Civilization, how do you transform civilization? It took an awful long time to figure out some of this stuff, when you really think about it.
And that, but I thought I'd share some actual truth with people. And so some people celebrated it, deeply religious people. One had a headline saying, Neil deGrasse is trolling Christians on Christmas Day. And I said, Newton at least has the benefit of actually having been born that day. Then later on, it's actually more subtle than that with Newton, because he was on the Julian calendar, which is 10 days shifted from the Gregorian calendar. So if you ask what would his birthday be today, it would be January 4th, not December 25th.
Oh.
So... yeah, but when he was born, his mother was celebrating Christmas, so that's really what matters for that tweet.
Well, it's such a bizarre thing anyway, because if you're a real Christian, you would understand that the birthday was shifted in order to comply with pagan religion.
That's exactly. It landed... I don't know how many people know that, actually. I mean, you're a well-read guy. But, so, if you give me a minute to just explain that. So, December 21st, we know, is the first day of winter. Shortest day of the year. And what makes it short? Shortest daylight of the year. And what makes it short? The arc of the sun across the sky is very low. The sun doesn't get very high. And it doesn't stay out for very long. And it's been coming a lower arc every day en route to December 21st. The ancient peoples were worried about this because everyone worshipped the sun because it made your crops come and it gave you warmth. And he said, well, if this keeps going lower and lower in the sky, we're going to lose the sun entirely. December 21st, the sun slows down and it stops this drop in its movement across the sky from day to day. So that stopping of the sun is solstice. That's Latin, the stationary sun, like armistice, stationary arms, right, from the end of the First World War, when November 11th that was.
And it starts going the other way. Yeah, okay. It's very sciencey.
The solstice. So the movement of the sun lower in the sky stops. But that doesn't mean it's going to come back. It takes a few days for it to slow down, stop, and then reverse. He said, oh, it is coming back. Let's celebrate that. And that's a few days after December 21st. It's about December 25th, a pagan holiday celebrating the return of the sun. Christianity is trying to take foothold where pagans once roamed. And you put celebrations that match theirs just so that the shift is not as hard for you. And the unknown birthday of Jesus was then assigned this pagan day of celebration to make that transition easier for the pagans to become Christians. And sure enough, it remained Christmas Day.
It isn't speculated.
The birth of Jesus.
The speculated birthday of Jesus is like the spring,
The spring.
right?
There's some passages, of course, in the New Testament that reference what the sheep were doing. Plus, there's a census being taken
Yes, the census would be the giveaway.
by the Romans. which is what, and Mary goes to the manger. The animals are not in the manger. So there's secondary evidence that it's probably happened in the spring. That's
now, with the advent of commercial space travel, it seems inevitable. Seems inevitable.
I hate this guy. I mean, I just, it's clowns for physics. I mean, he's like, bozo, quantum bozo.
Right?
Love your segments. Yes, okay.
Do you think that it's possible that maybe you can even offer up a flat Earth believer tour where you take them, like at the very least, take them up to Alaska where it's light for 23 hours a day?
Calling it to you?
Tweeting me constantly. Yeah, calling me a sellout. I'm a sellout. I'm a round Earth sellout. Like as if there's some round Earth money.
Wow.
Yeah, like
they're on the payroll.
I'm getting some checks. I'm getting some round Earth checks to keep the nonsense going.
Round Earth payroll for your show.
I'm sure you've seen a basketball player who graduated from Duke. That
was in the news last couple of days.
Yeah, basketball player. There's a giveaway. He didn't graduate. Jesus Christ. He was anointed with a degree. He didn't take any classes. Oh.
And he believes that dinosaurs are fake and that the world is flat.
Okay, so here's the thing, Joe. Right? I've thought about this.
I bet you have.
As an educator, I've thought about this. Okay? So here's what matters.
Educator. Whatever.
We live in a free country. People should be able to think whatever they want, whenever they want, provided it doesn't subtract away from someone else's rights. Okay.
Yeah, well, just about everything does, one way or another, so all that is kind of bullshit. Though it all ends up being trespasses, one way or another. So people should fucking goddamn get what they deserve. If they're idiots, they should get what an idiot should get. Idiot pie.
So thinking the Earth is flat doesn't harm anyone, unless you want to run for office, or you want some position of power over other people. That's when it's dangerous. I'm thinking of elevator banks where they have numbers. I have a photo essay of what elevators look like inside. I know there's just...
You mean the gears?
No, not even that geeky. Just what are the numbers on the panel?
Oh, without the 13, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So about 80% of buildings taller than 12 stories don't have a 13th floor. Okay? And so this trichophobia is, again, in a free country, if you want to be afraid of the number 13, go right ahead. It just seems to me you should not be tasked with designing elevators if that's your fear. Find something else to do.
Well, it's really not the fear of the elevator makers, it's the fear of the public, and so they do it to accommodate the idiots that you think should be free to breed and such.
Holding aside the fact that I'm a little scared that in this 21st century United States of America, we have people walking among us afraid of the number 13. What does that mean? I don't know in the long run. But if you...
Yeah, it's called idiocracy. It's really easy to figure out what it means in the long run. It means you intellectuals, you people who claim to be smart, aren't smart enough to figure out, oh, we have to drive the bus. We can't let the idiots do it. But you keep letting them do it.
To yourself, no harm others, think whatever you want. So the rubber hits the road is you now have power over others. And that's where the failure of the educational system...
Power to breed, you mean, too, right? So why didn't you bring that one up? Power over others. They're the ones producing the children of the world. Most children are born to imbeciles. Fact.
System actually manifests.
Well,
that's how societies and cultures collapse.
But it's not that they don't know that there's a 13th floor and that you're just calling it 14th floor.
I'm going to take my Sharpie cross out the floor and say, that's the 13th floor. You're not fooling anybody.
No, when you see it on an elevator...
The good thing about that was, my father was kind of a frugal man. So actually, the house I grew up in was 13 because it was, nobody bought it on the street. It was a bargain price. So it works out. For the people who are smart. You get a bargain this way.
You see no 13.
And plus they try to figure out
how
like,
they do that.
So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you have to go to the next row to begin for the 14. Oh. So you don't see 12 right next to 14. And then some modern buildings will put their the heavy machinery, like the HVAC.
Okay, so we're 14 minutes into this, and there hasn't been anything close to like something scientific, right? Right.
On the 13th floor. So that there's no resonancy there, right?
But they can still say it's the 13th floor and then there's the 14th floor.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever have a dummy 13th button where you press it and it never lights up? Like, I don't get it. I can't get in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what I would do.
Oh, you just put it there to satisfy me, and still nobody lives there.
Exactly.
And what? That's too clever.
Oh, this is one of the 20% of people that makes sense. This is what a great building. Meanwhile, there is no 13th floor. It's just a dummy button.
You know that Twilight Zone episode with the mannequins? They went up to the 11th floor, but there is no 11th floor. and the mannequins come to life at night.
Ooh, I forgot about
Yeah,
that one.
they leave the store floors, and they all go up to 11, and they have a cocktail party, and they vote which one of them is going to go out and become human for a day.
The Twilight Zone was so
That
good.
was the best television there ever was. Like, still, to this day, ever.
They've used up so many great premises.
Great premises, great actors, great cinematography, and it was in black and white, so shadows were completely dark.
Yeah.
Because shadows don't have much meaning when you film in color, because everything is just there. But in black and white,
Yeah.
the shadows create mood.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I watched just
Ooh.
Serve Man the other night.
oh,
I hadn't seen it in a while. And I,
to
was,
Serve Man.
I had it on the DVR. I'm like, let's
And
just.
then
It's a cookbook. Too late. Too bad. Too late.
and
I
that
watched
big
this
guy
one.
who played Lurch on,
Yes,
on,
yes.
on the Addams Family.
Yeah, that was a great one because it was just like it had all the elements of people going, well, you know, they seem nice.
They
and-
seem nice, yeah, and they solved all of our war and our
It's a
famine.
cookbook. Yeah, God, it was great. They had so
Another good
many.
one was the Invaders. Do you remember this one?
Ooh.
This was a one-woman performance, and I forgot who was it. Was it not Agnes Moorehead? One of these women of that era. It'll come to me in a minute. And she's living alone in a farmhouse, no electricity. She's got a farm, and she's alone. And some alien spacecraft land on her roof. And it's got these devices, it's got these saws and lasers cutting through things. And she's freaking out. She's got the pan and the pot and the rolling pin. And then she gets the shotgun. And she's attacking this thing. And you don't know what it is. And it's got lights and a thing. And it's this tiny little thing. It's like 3 inches across, right? And it turns out that's the thing that's attacking her. And then she finally, like, that's it. See the little robot? Okay? And then, I gotta give you this.
So they did this ahead of time because he knew that clip was in there. So they arranged this conversation ahead of time. Oh, putridness. Ooh. I mean, he just pointed to the clip. You know, he knew the clip was going to get inserted. He came with the clip. Let's talk about the Twilight Zone. Oh, fuck.
I was 40 years old, I can keep the punchline, okay? So she actually successfully damages the thing, and then you zoom in on it, right? And then you hear a radio transmission from the aliens that are inside, and it says, yeah, hello, Houston, there's a giant who's trying to attack us. We need help, send backups. Oh, it was great. Like,
Whoa.
we were the invaders. That was us landing on her home on some other planet.
Or some parallel Earth from some other
Who
dimension where
cares?
the
It's
Earth is
just,
small.
no.
No? Oh, okay, I get it. So it's another planet.
She's the
Right.
giant. Right. You're saying there's a giant attacking us.
Right.
But the whole show,
You
you are
think
at her
the
point of view.
aliens-
These aliens are trying to hurt her.
Yeah, they did that a lot in the Twilight Zone. You know, little people, big people, and stuff. Eh.
When it was our space probe just trying to explore its environment.
But isn't it possible that it's like another dimension? It's us in another dimension, and that they are landing on Earth?
Except it is, no, I mean, they were speaking English.
Yeah, well, they got, yes, yeah, so, well, she was probably speaking English, too. So, yes, they went out into space and time warped, and they got shrunken, and that's what happened.
Couldn't it just parallel evolution? Well, isn't that the definition of infinity? That somewhere, if there is really an infinity, there's not only a you and an I, but there's a you and an I and everybody else we've ever met, and all the exact events in the exact same order have gone down an infinite number of times, including this conversation.
Okay, except.
Except.
There is.
Yeah, except that's not logical. So, again, this is just, I don't know why people think infinity means redundancy. Because it doesn't. If you have an infinite number of things on the die, it means you never run out of combinations, and therefore you're more likely to never have a redundancy in a sense, because there's more numbers on the dice all the time.
I don't know how many people know this, but often it's mind-blowing when you learn that some infinities are bigger than others.
So I guess this was another prearranged subject.
Joe Rogan just leaned 2 feet away from the microphone.
How's that?
Yeah, not all infinities are the same size.
But if it's infinity, then it's infinity. It's infinite. What is no?
Okay. Don't you remember when you were a kid? What's the biggest number? A million. Well, a million and one.
Right.
Okay, how about a billion? It was a billion and one. It was an annoying kid.
Right.
Always added one. Okay. How about infinity? Well, infinity and one.
Right.
Okay. Well, it turns out infinity and one. And
Double affinity. It's, double affinity.
infinity are the same number. Okay. So here's so for example, the number of counting numbers. So 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Okay.
Right.
The numbers you would use to count things. That's infinite. The number of irrational numbers. So the numbers that you cannot represent as a fraction. Okay. There are more of those than there are counting numbers. By far. So these are orders of infinity. Then there are more there are more.
Whatever. So he argues because there's no end to counting, because counting is just adding one, that we can say there's a real concept of more affinity if you count the fractions between the infinity that you already created by a concept that requires the addition. So the infinity doesn't exist because it's made up of a function, and the function has to go on forever to ever make the affinity. So there's no way you could multiply an unfinished number. You can't multiply in math 2 times 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, a number that's not formed yet.
Transcendental numbers, then there
Transcendental numbers
are irrational numbers.
What's a transcendental number?
So that's a number that you'll never find as a solution to an algebraic equation. So pi is a transcendental number, e is a transcendental. These are magic numbers that show up in mathematics. And it turns out there's like an even bigger infinity of the.
Okay, it's an even bigger infinity of numbers that don't have a resolution, that don't finish. They stay on the pot forever. No shitting.
Than there is of these other 2 classes of numbers, and they use the Hebrew letter aleph in ranking. So aleph 1, aleph 2, aleph 3, aleph. I think there are 5 levels of infinity. So my point is, just because there's infinite universes, to me, doesn't mean there's infinite conversations that have happened.
Yeah, well, there. So at least he agrees with me. Okay, on that one. It doesn't mean there's any redundancy either.
And I want to really explore the depths of infinities before I say and agree with you that this conversation has happened an infinite number of times in just this way, except you have a different engineer sitting next to us, or
and an infinite number of times where it's been Jamie too, right?
Yeah, in
It's
principle,
true.
that's the argument that's given. But I think that there's some nested infinities in there that deserve some explanation.
My feeble brain is not handling this well.
Well, that's fine. As I say in the
Oh yeah, I gotta sell his book now, right?
graph of the book.
Book is not available yet, but I have a copy. Haha! Astrophysicist for people in a hurry.
Astrophysics.
Physics for people in a hurry.
But you gotta say,
Astrophysicist for people in a hurry. Come over there.
Right, so I mean they have to have the annual, every 14 months, release some sort of tripe for sale to the, the insipid idiocracy. So, basically physics for people who don't give a shit about real physics.
Astrophysics for people in a hurry.
Oh, yes, I could.
You gotta say it because you're in a hurry. So the epigram on that is, the universe is under no obligation to make sense to you.
That's rational.
So, whatever. So, more garbage, Clearly, I would argue there is an obligation in the sense that there's enough compiled evidence to demonstrate that the function is not chaotic, because it does reliable things over and over and over again. So there's no chaos as you go down. The chaos only appears up here, but it can't exist in the foundations of the universe.
That makes sense. Before. And so it makes sense to you that the universe is under no obligation to make sense. So it's okay if your brain hurts when I say there's a ranking of infinities, but you shouldn't say that doesn't make sense, therefore it is not true.
I definitely
what I'll say is it can't possibly be relevant to anything. Nothing. Because physics itself has no utility for an infinity. It has no function, but merely as a synthetic model when you want to say, well, how do I create gravity that doesn't get weaker? Well, I make an infinite plane of gravity, and therefore the gravity never gets weaker.
say that, but what confuses me is the word infinity, because I always taken the word infinity to mean something that has no end. So how could something that has no end be larger than something else that has
So
no
the
end?
way they do that mathematically, the way to demonstrate that mathematically is you map one item in the set of this infinity to corresponding items in the set of the other infinity. Mm-hmm. So you do this. So you take the 1 and you map it to like the first transcendental number, take the 2 to the second. You just keep doing this. And when you do that mathematically, what you find that one infinity outstrips the other infinity. Wow. And then you're left with more numbers. So,
for use where? What do you do with these numbers? Polish the lining of your asshole?
but that shows you that you have a bigger infinity.
Now, when you find, I mean, there's a new NASA announcement that's supposed to, is it Monday that's supposed to be?
Oh dear, NASA.
announced or
Tomorrow?
tomorrow the exoplanet
It's a
announced
Wednesday.
that.
Yeah. So it's Wednesday. I don't have.
You don't have juicy
specifics.
details?
I'm not authorized to.
Okay. If you did have juicy details, it's
Okay,
their
let me
time.
invent some juicy details that it could be. So NASA, so he's been good at segueing lately.
He's jumping in.
He's just jumping.
I know I'm average for a short amount of time.
jump.
We're gonna get that red eye.
Just flying back.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that subject was coming up already.
Thanks for fitting this in, Joe.
My pleasure.
gosh, it's
Anytime. I would open the place up at 3 in the morning for
Oh
you.
man, no, I feel loved. So thank you. Here's some things it could be, because NASA is saying that it's a stunning new announcement. Well, what could be more than the fact that we already know that there are Earth-like planets orbiting in the Goldilocks zone of the nearest star to the sun, Proxima Centauri. Can you do better than that for me, NASA? I don't think so, unless you got some extra stuff you're going to tell us, like what's been a cottage industry in the last couple of years is the observation of planet atmospheres. As the planet passes in front of the host star, light from the host star passes through the atmosphere, and the light signature is altered by the chemistry of the atmosphere. So depending on what the chemicals are, it'll influence the spectrum that you get. And when you do that, you can say what the chemical composition of the atmosphere of that star is. There's certain combinations of elements.
Well, let's say this theory is not entirely, something. I mean, it seems kind of unlikely that you could get the signature of the Earth's atmosphere from, whatever it is, 4 light years away. I don't know. I don't think so. But whatever. Go ahead. Pretend.
That we would call biomarkers. No, we can't look down to the surface of the planet and look at cities, if there are any. But there are consequences in the atmosphere to there being life on the surface, such as, is there oxygen there? I used to think when I was watching...
So I hate these conversations because all this speculation, there's a whole list of qualifications. Like, they have this stupid Drake equation. A tiny segment of the complex constituents of what it is to have a living thing. Okay, first a cellular living thing, and then multicellular organisms. It's 2 separate evolutions, 2 separate events. Just those 2. That's not talking about all the different cellular structures that you have to have that are a constituent of anything we call meaningful life. Like a brain. 1 neuron, 1 time. No other structure does thinking, feeling. Just neurons. Nothing else. No other mechanism produces the function. So all that stuff is always left out of these conversations about how meaningful it is to merely have an atmosphere that's compatible with the current atmosphere, not the one where the first life form evolved on Earth. That's where it even gets even more obviously juvenile and unscientific a conversation. Because they don't even pay attention to the fact that the first life form had to learn how to eat its dead, eat its brothers eventually, and sisters.
Star Trek when I was a kid, because I saw it in real time. That's how old I am. When it first came out, original series, the Star Trek characters never wore spacesuits.
Yeah.
You ever wonder? I mean, you ever thought about that? Okay. What happens is they visit planets that have nitrogen oxygen atmosphere, Jim. All right. Well, that's what our atmosphere is. Nitrogen. So they find planets with nitrogen oxygen. They go down.
No, it's actually not true. They did wear spacesuits on a couple of occasions when there was evil things on the planet, and when they were in space, they wore spacesuits. And when they were inside aliens, a big alien amoebas, they wore spacesuits. So.
And they don't need a spacesuit. So they actually thought about that, and that's their solution. So that must mean there'd be planets that you can find. Well, here's the thing. We have oxygen on Earth only because there's life on Earth. Not any kind of life. Photosynthesizing life. We have life that takes sunlight, turns it into chemical energy, into a cell, into wood, into...
Well, that's really not the important thing. It takes heat. So again, I don't think he's completely accurate here. That you could argue that the first life forms might have been in volcanic events, and that the first thing that was metabolized was just heat, and then it was found that light works good too.
Plants, and one of its byproducts is oxygen. Oxygen is chemically active. If you took away all plants tomorrow, that oxygen would slowly get absorbed chemically into the environment. And then you would not have oxygen there to be viewed by aliens trying to see if we have life here.
It's pretty surprising to people to know that we're mostly nitrogen in our
Oh
air.
yeah, we're 78% nitrogen in our atmosphere. So, you know what happens if you have too much oxygen? If you have, like, let's say 50% oxygen.
You get really hot, right? Isn't that part of it?
No, what happens is, like, a forest fire would never go out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because oxygen feeds combustion, and so you could basically burn all vegetation in the world if the oxygen went above certain thresholds. So,
Right, and again, this is in the context of a conversation talking about abiogenesis and the likelihood of life, and the original life forms, oxygen was the shit. It was the byproduct of the metabolism of life. Oxygen was the waste. Shit.
need it high enough so that you can still have oxygen metabolism, but not so high that it's bad for lightning-triggered forest fires.
So
but
if they see that.
So if I don't know the answer, but I'm just guessing here because it's been a cottage industry the last couple of years. Let's find these biomarkers. Do you have unstable chemistry going on in that atmosphere? Because if you do, it means something's generating it, and certain combinations of chemistry tells you there's likely to be life.
Well, again, that's all just bullshit. I mean, Jupiter has lots of chemistry, and no sign of life.
Okay.
Now, just a couple decades ago, we had speculation of other planets, but we really didn't have any tangible proof.
In fact, anytime I give a public talk, you do this in your gigs. Ask who was born since 1995. Okay, and your audience leans young, so there'll be some fraction of the audience who'll raise their hand. And so what I do is I knight them as Generation Exoplanet. Because 1995 was the first year that a planet outside of our own solar system was discovered. So they have been alive only during a time when we've known other star systems.
That's so crazy.
Generation Exoplanet. That's what I want to start that movement.
It's so crazy. That's so recent. I mean,
it is. Oh yeah.
I was looking out here.
Yeah, it's 24 years ago. 22 years ago.
Yeah, that's insane. If you stop and think about what a short period of time that is, and in that period of time,
We've been there's like rising through 3,000 exoplanets. So the advance of tech, that's not just.
I mean, it just really, why this is interesting when we already have 10 of them floating around out here in this solar system, and we can see what all the moons are and all. So if you add up all the moons in this solar system and the planets, you see, yeah, it's a lot of chemistry, but it's all kind of dead chemistry. Planet doesn't mean anything, in other words. Planet is a long way from replicating molecule, and it's a long way from neurons doing thinking.
Science advance, that's engineering and technology and telescope quality and imaging quality, and there's a lot that goes on to the advance of science. It's not just how clever you are in an Einsteinian way, it's do you know good engineers that build a device to make the measurement. This is how we discovered gravity waves.
Now, what's your take on that?
The gravity waves. So what's your take on that? Oh, this ought to be good.
Planet that's supposed to be outside the Kuiper Belt.
Oh, no, he's talking about the Kuiper Belt planet.
That's
Planet 9. So far. Yeah, all the data look convincing. So what they've done is they've looked at other objects in the Kuiper Belt and looked at these are colleagues of mine at Caltech. So it's Mike Brown, who, I get blamed for killing Pluto, but I was an accessory for sure, but definitely didn't kill Pluto. That dude killed Pluto. He found another object that was basically the size of Pluto out there. So either you make that planet, or you demote Pluto.
And how much smaller is Pluto than, say, our moon?
Oh, so get me started. Our moon has 5 times the mass of Pluto. So Pluto was lame from.
Yeah, well, our moon is the heaviest and biggest moon in the solar system. So, Pluto has moons, for fuck's sake. Let it go, Neil. Something that has planets revolving around, moons revolving around it, it's a planet. I don't care if it's this big. If it's got shit swirling around it, it's a planet.
In the beginning. All right, we thought it was big. We wanted it to be big. We made it one of us, one of the 9, and its size didn't settle out until the late 1970s. We had better and better, more accurate ways to measure its size, and that's when we learned it's small even compared to our own. But
yeah, but it's real nice and round, and it has shit flying around it. So, fuck you.
A big moon, but if you're not going to think our moon is a planet, you're certainly not going to think that Pluto is a planet. So this, let me just tell you how they did. So they found these other objects out there. The same team. Constantine, I think it's pronounced his last name.
I mean, look, the whole distinction of planet, it doesn't mean anything, but I'm just saying by definition, the moon wouldn't be a planet. I mean, it's got another word for that. It's like man, woman, there's a difference, and it's, sometimes it's a significant difference. Jesus Christ.
Buckingen and Mike Brown, both at Caltech, and they found these objects in the outer, the Kuiper Belt of icy bodies, of which Pluto is a member. You track their motion, and you say, okay, if I add up all the gravity that's affecting them, they should move this way, but they don't. They move another way, a different way. So either Newton's laws of gravity are failing in the outer solar system, or there's some object out there whose gravity you have yet to reconcile with the motions of these objects. So they said, let's assume Newton is right. what object do we have to put out there, at what distance and at what size, to influence the movement of these Kuiper Belt objects in the way we see it?
And did they do this through Bode's law?
No, we wait.
Way past.
Thanks for remembering Bode's law. But Bode's law was an early measure of where you might find a new planet.
It was based on mass and gravity?
No, Bode's law was a simple arithmetic tool. All it did was basically double the distance with a certain additive parameter.
Double the distance of
known
subplanets?
So, for example, and there's a factor in there that helped the inner planets come out right. But let's look at Mars. Mars is like 2.5 times Earth's distance from the sun. What comes after Mars? Jupiter. Jupiter is 5 times Earth's distance. So Saturn is 10 times. So from 2.5 to 5 to 10. So Bode's law is just a simple arithmetic scheme. It's not based on any known physics.
And it was only based on solar system itself.
On the solar system itself, that's right. So, and it worked, and you have to fudge your way to get Mercury to work in that.
Oh, really?
And it didn't have Pluto. Of course, Pluto wasn't a planet anyway. But anyhow, it was a fudgy way that was mostly right by accident.
And this was in, like, what year was this?
Oh, that was 1800s, basically.
Oh, wow,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so now we have advanced computer programming, very high precision modeling, and they're saying there's got to be a planet somewhere here in this arc of the sky. Let's look for it. Because we think that's specific to the orbits of these other objects. And that is a completely noble way to discover a planet. That's how Neptune was discovered. And because everyone looked at the orbit of Uranus and said, Uranus is not following Newton's laws. Maybe Newton's laws don't work that far out. It's never been tested that far. And they said, let's assume it works and ask what would have to influence it. And by the way, it's a difficult mathematical calculation. Because you're not saying, here's the object, what's the gravity field? You're saying, here's the gravity field.
Yeah, once you hear these stories a few hundred times, you're just like, oh man, okay. Yeah, that's right. The guy predicted it. Hey, look right there, told them to look for it, and they found it.
I need, where must the object be and how massive must it be? That's a much harder mathematical problem to solve. And so once the errant orbit of Uranus was known and calculated, they started looking for a planet, and that's how they discovered planet Neptune.
Wow. So now, when they're looking at this planet 9...
Oh, I said that way. It was that the movement of Uranus's orbit was not following proper laws. And they inferred the presence of Neptune. They said, look here, tomorrow night. And they looked there, and they found it.
Wow.
Yes, a brilliant display. And we're going back into the 19th century. So, I mean, people were badass. At every generation's got their badass scientists.
Now, how much further out from the known solar system is this unknown planet
So
system?
I'm not quick to call it Planet 9 because
so far
it's 20,000 times farther away from the sun than the Earth is. So I'm not, sorry, you're not in the family.
You're not in the neighborhood.
No, you're not in the hood. No. Sorry, I'm not feeling
it. It's like calling Connecticut New York City.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah,
not feeling it.
So,
yeah.
But it's something massive, right? It's like 6 times the mass of the
Yeah,
Earth.
I forgot what mass they were assigning it, but yeah, if that were in our solar system, we don't question. You would label it as a planet.
And it wasn't there one time speculation that it was some sort of a burnt out star?
Anyway, I claim ignorance on this subject anyway, but it is curious. I mean, if there was something out there, you'd have to call it something. There's no point in sitting there and saying, well, it's not our responsibility. It seems it probably is orbiting the sun, so yeah, I think that makes it in the hood.
No, not at that mass. No. So you might be thinking, if that's what I think you're thinking, you have good memory. That long ago, in a galaxy far away, sometime in the 1970s, people looked at the extinction record on Earth. And every 20,000 years, they found a little dip in the fossil record where we lost some species. And people were wondering why. Could there have been some flux of comets raining down periodically on the Earth, wreaking havoc on the ecosystem, rendering species extinct in these periodic intervals? If there is, maybe there's some double star to the sun.
Right, binary
star system. So they invoked it, and they called it, they gave it a name, they called it Nemesis. They gave it a name. And so you know what orbital period that object must have. It's got to match the extinction periodicity, and so it's got to be a 20,000 year period. And so, but people looked for it, they couldn't find it, and then you reanalyze the extinction records, and you have to fudge it to make it look like it was periodic. So basically, we've abandoned the idea of Nemesis.
And aren't binary star systems really common?
Yeah, more than half the stars you've seen in the night sky are binary multiple systems. In fact, the iconic image from Star Wars, the original Star Wars movie, before they numbered them, I think, what Star Wars 4,
Tatooine, right? Is that what they were?
Well, yeah, whatever that desert planet that Luke was on, and he comes out after visiting his step-parent, no, his adopted parents, where he was visiting. He comes out and you see a double sunset. So that's basically the only accurate science in the entire series.
That's it?
Star Wars series.
That was another thing I really enjoyed. You're taking part of Gravity, the movie Gravity, and how many people got mad at you for that?
Yeah, so I stopped commenting on movies. I don't need to piss people off. When I watch a movie, I'm having those thoughts anyway. So I might as well share them with people if you're interested. So I did just that. And then the last time I did it was for Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars 7. I had a series of tweets. One of them was, BB-8, a smooth, rolling, metal, spherical ball, would have skidded uncontrollably on sand. People got angry. Someone tweeted back, shut the fuck up, okay? So I said, okay, I'm not here to get people angry. I'm just here to enlighten, to help people enhance their movie-going experience. But to the extent
wait, what the hell am I? Okay, so I guess we're not going to do the rest of this. Maybe I shouldn't do any more of this. It's, this really isn't worth watching.
It is not accomplishing this. I don't need to do it. I'm just saying. I'm an educator. I thought I was being nice. I don't need to do so. I haven't tweeted about a movie since then. I got tweets I
Don't
can
let
post.
them stop you.
I have tweets I can post about Arrival.
Please do. I didn't watch that.
You know what?
I watched a little bit of it. Shut it off.
Okay. No, you gotta give it a chance.
As soon as I see a movie that starts out, I don't spoil alert, starts out with a sick kid, I'm like, fuck you. I don't know what you're doing.
No, in fact, it's very not about the kid.
I'm sure. That's what I keep
It's
hearing.
totally not about the kid.
Jamie hated it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay. So just give it a chance. But anyhow, so I just thought maybe I'll come back, but I'm
Do it!
Yeah.
People need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. All right, yeah, we're done. Sorry, wasted your time. Yeah, there's got to be better things for me to do with my neurons than watch this crap. So anyway, back to regular scheduled videos and such. Sorry to have wasted your time. So that's a question. I mean, should I just not post the video? I mean, I made it, so I think I'll post it. No way to really inform you. It'd be nice if, we had these editing tools that were really convenient and simple, where I could just attach to this the ending and just move it to the front and just say, don't watch this video. But maybe I'll title it that. Wasted time. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Wasted time.